meanwhile, another squad member, Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, now appears to be in a growing feud with Republican Senator Rand Paul. Omar sparking backlash after she retweeted actor Tom Arnold, which is bad enough in and of itself. But the tweet mocking the brutal assault of Senator Paul, which left him with 6 broken ribs and a bruised lung. Arnold calling the senator whiny and saying it's no wonder the neighbor, quote, ripped off his toupee. This comes after the senator last week said he would pay to have Omar travel to the country of her birth, Somalia. Watch this.
I'm not saying we forcibly send her anywhere. I'm willing to contribute to buy her a ticket to go visit Somalia. And I think she could look and maybe learn a little bit about the disaster that is Somalia. And then maybe after she's visited Somalia for a while, she might come back and appreciate America more.
All right, very good. I know Senator Paul loves freedom. He loves the Constitution. He loves this country. He also knows that the words that he chooses in terms of Somalia and Congresswoman Omar are going to be incendiary. Was this a smart battle for him to insert himself into?
I think it's worth drawing attention, actually, to her story, which is not just a story of an immigrant, but it's a story of a refugee who came to the United States, and by the way, Somalia being a country where a lot of Americans gave their lives trying to get food and trying to free it from tribal control and different gangs were running things. She comes over here to the freest country in the world, runs for Congress and wins and becomes a celebrity, and her response is to attack our freedoms, to even have attacked the soldiers who died in Somalia. That is a definition of ungrateful, and he's correct to say, I'm not trying to send her back, but maybe she should educate herself on what is actually going on in this world and the opportunities she'd had here to reflect on them.
Sometimes we do need a little context, though. I think sometimes we have it so easy that we take it for granted that we live in a place where there is mobility, where someone who has active disdain for the United States can get elected to represent constituents in the House of Representatives. That's pretty remarkable.
It is. I mean, you know, America is unique and singular in its way that it enables, you know, individuals, if they are, you know, our citizens and rightfully so, to be able to rise through the ranks and represent their communities. And look, I've been critical of Representative Omar's remarks in regards to Israel and Jewish people and a whole host of other things. I'm not a huge fan of the squad. I think everybody that's involved in this conversation right now, you know, might as well go back to the playground because they're all acting incredibly immature.
Yes.
But I want to pose a rhetorical question, though, because so often when we hear it's you know, what do we expect from President Trump? If he gets hit, of course he's going to hit back. He's a counterpuncher. Yet, you know, well, I obviously don't agree with her retweeting the Tom Arnold stuff. You know, you could argue, hey, Rand Paul took a shot. She took a shot back. She's allowed to defend herself.
Yeah, but he's saying go get some context so you can appreciate freedom coming from a place that is lawless and brutal and unimaginable. What she is celebrating is the fact that he was feloniously
I am not agreeing
and
with
almost
either.
Gravely injured.
It's terrible.
I mean,
And what happened to Rand Paul?
you have to realize there is a difference here between words that might be offensive and violent action.
Absolutely.
You have to realize there's a difference.
Absolutely.
A simple question as we kind of try to outmask.
This is more of a rhetorical thing than there was actual.
Sometimes rhetorical questions deserve answers.
I see the lawmakers kind of trying to out-nasty one another. Does he think she doesn't remember what it was like? Because I guarantee you she does.
That's a good point.
And
exactly.
I don't know where we're going here. Lisa?
Well, I will say 2 things that I find interesting. If you look at Representative Omar and you look at Rashida Tlaib, they both have tweets in 2012 and 2015 saying let's deport certain people, right? And particularly Tlaib talking about President Trump. So I find that interesting. Not a ton of coverage about those tweets that exist there either. But I think if you're looking at someone like Representative Omar and what President Trump, as I've said previously, is trying to do is paint the Democrat Party as extreme and out of touch with America. So if you want to do that, you pick these 4 women. Of course, you're making your case by doing that. And if you look at someone like Representative Omar, she is essentially an American success story, okay? Coming over here as a refugee, being educated, going on to become a member of Congress, that is part of the American dream. And I do think there's a sense of frustration because you hear some of these comments that she has previously made and minimalizing 9/11, which she absolutely did, saying it as some people did something, and making comments like that, supporting policies like a boycott, divestment, and sanctions, which Nancy Pelosi has said is bigoted and dangerous. So you look at the substance of some of these things like that Representative Omar has said, and I don't think President Trump is wrong to draw attention to the substance of that.
Well, look, you can't
and some of
move the
beliefs that
facts.
these members hold.
Again, I make the argument that he's the catalyst to get everybody to talk about those remarks that she made. And I know the director of the JCRC for Dakotas and Minnesota sat down with her some time ago, Steve Honig's. It's been reported well that he's had those conversations with her too, Representative Omar, trying to bring forward. My question is, we get back to the old send her back to which you think she came from when you say to go to Somalia, and I'm telling you that woman probably...
How old was she?
I'm sure she remembers, but what lessons has she learned?
She has made
Of course, but here's, you know, and I know how people will contrast it. They will say, and there are people who have said, President Trump should go visit Baltimore. He should go visit Baltimore. He should talk to the citizens, and he should see what's really happening.
He seems to know more about it than some people do in this current conversation.
But you're saying there's a difference between telling the president, if you're going to talk about something, go see exactly what you're talking about and experience it firsthand.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't called on him to do that.
No,
He's in
I think
DC,
this,
so, I mean,
this is about acknowledging that this woman probably has trauma from living in a war-torn place.
Rashida Tlaib is talking about
I'm not talking about her. I'm talking about
whatever.
I'm not talking about her.
It's so offensive.
It's like being insulted that North Korea has nuclear weapons.
The squad,
a nuclear
the
state.
squad
Can we
is
talk
not
about
a
babies
good
and puppies?
We can talk about babies and puppies and
Anybody
a major
but the squad.
shakeup